Hi, I love our church compact because it because of the spiritual nature of it, and I believe it reflects the true spirituality in the world. That there are many paths to the top of the mountain, and that all of them are valid, and it invites us to follow the truth that's inside each of us. I I appreciate all the different points of view that it encourages in us. The and yet I also appreciate that has that it mentions Jesus by name and acknowledges that particular path and as our founding, and not so much the Christian church in history, but the actual person, and saying if we follow his way, we'll will combine with each other to have a good spiritual experience. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Fletcher Crow. Allison LeBaron has asked me to comment on the UCG Compact. I've looked over the lines of the Compact, which I like very much, but there's one that really truly stands out to me. It's the one that says that we learn from our religious heritage. One of the great things about UCG is that we don't limit the people, the individuals, the thinkers that we study to just one faith. We look across the board and look at the religious traditions from all sorts of great thinkers of wisdom and sincere scholarly and religious heritage. Um, at UCG, for example, we have some people who have been studying Thich Nhat Hanh, who's a Buddhist that has tremendous insight into peace and the beauty of the world. Um, we've studied Viktor Frankl, who is a person who was Jewish in the Nazi concentration camps of World War II, but still wrote about finding the meaning of life. A true genius, someone of great value in our spiritual quest. We've looked at Albert Camus, who was an atheist, an existentialist living in North Africa, who wrote about the plague, about the suffering during a pandemic. And we've looked at the Dalai Lama, who has very inspirational words on peace and the brotherhood of all humans. So, one of the great things about UCG, I think, expressed in our compact, is that we have such a wide variety of great inspiration from all sorts of magnificent thinkers.
I'm Lesley LeBaron. I've been a member of UCG for many years. I'd like to tell you what I like about the compact. I like joining in this community. It talks about a spiritual community. To me, it's a community, the community of people. I met many of my dearest friends here, and I have my wonderful family, Allison and her family here. So I've seen her children grow up, and in fact, I saw her wedding and baptisms of the babies, and now they're grown up. So the community has been very important to me. I like that part of the compact. I also, my parents were agnostics. My grandfather was atheist. So I like the fact that our church and our compact don't insist on any particular dogma. I appreciate that too. To worship God however known, I just think I can be however I am here, not even have to worship God, because I don't even understand that word. But I can have a different opinion from others and be respected. I like learning from our religious heritage from the ministers and other members, because I know so little about religion and about the Bible. So that's really interesting to me. I also like having concern for all people and being able to help each other as much as possible, and know that I'm donating some of my funds for world projects that the United Church of Christ supports. I remember some years ago we changed the compact to read in that last line, Christian concern for the welfare of all people. It used to be concern for all men, and now it's all people. I like the evolving possibility of our compact.
Hi, I'm Nick Segnitz. I'm a long-standing friend of United Church of Gainesville, 20 plus years, and I've had a beautiful time enjoying the services there. When I first got there, I was reading the compact, and I loved every word of it. To gather together, to join, to worship, to learn, to grow by seeking new dimensions. I loved all that. When I got to line 7, things changed a bit for me, where we sort of deprecate ourselves spiritually. We acknowledge our imperfections, and I come from a tradition that pounded that into us, and I have resistance to it. So for me, I read the line, to follow even I'm perfectly the way of Jesus. And I feel like we should give ourselves the credit we deserve, to look at ourselves through God's eyes and not the eyes of what people say God is saying about us. To follow the ways and teachings of Jesus Christ in personal involvement with each other. When you're told to be imperfect, you will be imperfect. When you're told you are a sinner, you will sin. Whereas in the gospel, Matthew 5:48 specifically, we are commanded by God to be perfect as God in heaven is. And to me, I feel that commandment, and I have the capacity to act so.
I love everything about our UCG compact, but one thing in particular I like is the words seeking new dimensions of truth, because it makes me feel like I'm in Star Trek on the Enterprise. And I also like the part where it says God, however known, because the way I know God changes all the time. And I love the part about it's not like this every Sunday.
But that's not in the compact.
Oh, that's not in the compact?
We join as a spiritual community in this compact.
To worship God, however known.
To welcome into our church those of differing understanding and theological opinion.
To learn from our religious heritage, yet to grow by seeking new dimensions of truth.
To follow, even imperfectly, the way of Jesus in personal involvement with each other.
And, strengthened by this bond,
to act in Christian concern
for the welfare of all people.